This week's parsha is very famous because it has in it Aseres HaDibros. Now, when we go to Aseres HaDibros, most of them we know have some type of relevance to us. Anochi Hashem Elokecha, V'tavamuna, V'yilcha. All the laws, like Sitzach, like Sinach, like Signa, like Zigzag, all these things we know have some relevance to us. There's one of them that we go through very quickly, and I think it doesn't apply to us so much. I will show that that one may apply to us, may be relevant to us more than any one of the Aseres HaDibros. And which one is that? Leisisa Hashem Elokecha l'shav. It says you're not allowed to use Hashem's name for no reason. And the PARSHA is talking about when someone wants to make a shavua, he swears in Hashem's name. He's not allowed to use Hashem's name for the sheker or the shav, which means either to make a shavua, which is a lie, but even if it's not a lie, even if he's saying Hashem's name, he's making a shavua. The Gemara says, I'll eat shul eitz, on a piece of wood that it's wood. He's swearing on a table that it's a table.
Yeah, nonsense.
Yeah, which is rashav, which is for nothing. Everybody knows a table is a table. If someone's going to make a shavua on a table that it's a table, so and you're using Hashem's name for that shavua, then basically you're using Hashem's name for no reason. That is the Issa L'Sisa Hashem Elokecha l'shav, for nothing. Now, before we go into the halachic applications, I'd like to read you inside the chinuch. The chinuch explains what's so wrong with saying Hashem's name for no reason. So he says, Mishrashi mitzvah, says the chinuch, the reason for this mitzvah, the chinuch tries to explain the reasoning for all the mitzvahs. And he says, what's the reasoning for this mitzvah? L'das ben adam, the people should know, v'lekvoya ben avshaysam, and to make it firm in their souls, and to strengthen their emunah, the belief in Hashem. Why? Hashem, which is in the skies, there's nothing like it. Hashem, there's no kiyum like that at all. Hashem runs the world, He's everything. That is emunah b'Hashem. V'roi u'mechuyev aleinu, v'zachrenu shemoy hagadol al ma'aseinu v'al dibureinu. Anytime we mention that name of Hashem, who He is so strong and so powerful, v'zachrei b'ema b'yira v'reses v'zeh. We should say it with fear. We should tremble when we say Hashem's name. Why? Because Hashem's name means so much to us, and we know what it is, what Hashem is all about. Anytime you say the name, you should get a pachad, you should get a tremble from it. Like it used to be, when there used to be a king or someone very powerful, and if you did something wrong, they would chop off your head. Anytime you mentioned his name, you would get scared. So, Leisisa Shem Hashem or Shav is for the same reasoning. If you really believe that Hashem is so powerful and so strong, anytime you mention Hashem's name, you have to mention it in a way that you're scared. You're scared of Hashem. It's not like you're talking about something that passes and it doesn't have a kiyum. So therefore, anytime you say Hashem's name, you have to make sure when you mention it, you're saying it for the right thing, and you have to give it, as we say, a cheshivus. Saying that Hashem's name has to have a cheshivus. So if you're saying it for nothing, for no reason, then you're basically saying you don't believe that Hashem's name is so chashuv, and there's so much to it. So he says, the chinuch learns that it's really a mitzvah in emunah, in believing in Hashem. Not to use Hashem's name for nothing is really part of emunah b'Hashem. If you really believe in Hashem, how powerful He is, every time you would mention His name, you would get scared. Just the mention of Hashem's name would scare you. I was going to marshal the Havdil. Unfortunately, we mention certain machla, certain sicknesses. Just mention the name, people get It shows what up his spine if you mention certain things. That's what he said. The same thing with Hashem's name. If you know how powerful it is, and how scary Hashem is, when you mention His name, you would get a certain pachad, a certain shake when you say Hashem's name. So that's why you shouldn't say it for no reason. Now the big question is, what does it mean that I'm saying Hashem's name for no reason? What's no reason? You make a bracha, you say Hashem's name, you're saying it for a reason. So the Gemara says that if someone makes a bracha she'eina tzricha, which means a bracha which is not necessary, you made a bracha on something, and then you on a bench, you know after you bench, you're going to go ahead and eat something else after you bench. But you on a bench, and you want to make another bracha after you bench. This comes up, maybe we'll get to at the end of the shir, when someone has on Shabbos, you have to have many brachas. You have to do 100 brachas every single day. So if you go through the cheshbon of every day, you come very close to 100 brachas, because you have in SHMOT Esrei, you have 19 brachas. In SHMOT Esrei, you count up the SHMOT Esreis, you're more than halfway there. But Shabbos, with the SHMOT Esreis, are much shorter. There are only 7 brachas. So you're missing in each one 12 brachas. It's harder to get up to 100 brachas. So what would you do? Shabbos, you sit there Shabbos afternoon, you're eating, let's say a fruit, you make a nefashos, and then you take a different fruit, you make a eitz again, in order to get meir brachas. So here's a question if you're allowed to do that or not. There's a shul that speaks about it, whether you're allowed to do that or not, to be mashal meir brachas, we'll get to maybe later on. But that's called a bracha, and if you can't do it, it's called a bracha she'eina tzricha. What are you doing? You're making a bracha that's not necessary. Really, you continue eating without benching in the middle on the same bracha that you had. That's called the bracha she'eina tzricha. Another example the Gemara gives, that may get to the end of the shir also, is asach ben tefillah l'tefillah, or asach ben shchita l'shchita. The Gemara says if someone makes a bracha in the morning on a shchita, he's shechting animals. If you don't speak out between shchita and shchita, you shecht as many animals as you want. You make one bracha and go shecht as many animals as you want. If you speak out in between, what happens? You have to make a new bracha. You spoke out in between. So the Gemara says you're not allowed to speak out in between. Why? Because if you speak out in between, you're being mechayiv yourself to make another bracha. Hasach ben tefillah l'tefillah. Someone speaks out between the shalyad and sharosh. You make a bracha on the shalyad. That bracha goes on the sharosh also. If you speak out, you have to say a bracha again. You have to say lo niach tefillah the second time. Hasach ben tefillah l'tefillah, the Gemara says, you're causing yourself to make a bracha she'eina tzricha. You're causing yourself to make a bracha that's not necessary. So by speaking out between tefillah l'tefillah, between the first tefillah to the second one, you're causing yourself bracha she'eina tzricha. And what's the isser? Says the Gemara, you moitzi shem shemayim levatala. What's the problem with the bracha she'eina tzricha? You're saying Hashem's name for no reason. You can't make a bracha. What's wrong with making a bracha? The answer is if it's not necessary, then it's called being moitzi shem shemayim levatala. Asach ben tefillah l'tefillah, the Gemara says you're called moitzi shem shemayim levatala. Now here, I'm making a bracha. Why is it called moitzi shem shemayim levatala? Since you could avoid it and you know it's not necessary, therefore you're not allowed to do that. Now there's halacha. And that's Lesisa. Lesisa is the sach. When you're speaking out in between, you're causing yourself to make another bracha, of course. Once you spoke out, you're going to have to make another bracha. You have no choice. But the speaking out is an issa Lesisa. Because now you're causing yourself to say Hashem's name for no reason. That's an issa Lesisa. I mean, maybe we'll get to it later. This happens. This is a ma'asim b'chol yom. Someone makes a bracha, he forgot, he made a bracha, didn't make a bracha, makes another bracha. The person made a bracha and he forgot and makes a second bracha because he doesn't remember if he made a bracha or not. That's an issa l'sisa. It's for no reason. It's for no reason. You're not allowed to do that.
Not sure you don't, right?
So here there's another halacha which I want to get into. Maybe later on we'll get to the brachas. But there's another halacha I want to get into, which is that when we teach kids how to make brachas, a parent is teaching a kid how to make a bracha. So they say Hashem's name, you say Baruch Atah, you don't say Hashem's name, and then the kid says Hashem's name, and he makes the bracha. Allah says that you're allowed to teach a kid how to make a bracha, and you're allowed to say Hashem's name. But it's not l'shav, it's not for no reason.
Unless the kid is
because unless the kid could say the Hashem's name, but we teach him how to say it. If you say Baruch Atah Hashem, and the kid's going to continue saying Hashem, then he didn't get anything. The kid is not making the right bracha. But
you teach bar mitzvah lessons.
Yeah, mitzvah is a big question.
I know the answer.
It's a big question, mitzvah lessons.
I know the answer.
Yeah.
The answer is that if the person is the first time he got to do it, but if he's intelligent enough, he don't do it after that. But the kid, mamish doesn't understand. You can't go. Oh,
I don't want to get into mitzvah lessons, but it's a big shiloh. It's a big shiloh if you're saying it and when.
Well, when they go up there and they start saying the name of Hashem when they're lady.
No, but it's hearing.
If it's a pasuk.
Yeah, so we'll get to that. We'll get to the brachas and the lady. So the halacha says over here that we're teaching a kid brachas. You teach it to him with Hashem's name. So mutter the lamed the tonikas of brachas kitzikunam va'avu pishem mevarchim levatala b'shas halimud because it's not a problem. Now the mother of Rabbi brings down if someone is learning a Gemara, the Gemara brachas, and the Gemara brachas says what bracha do you make on this and this? It says Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam. So when you're learning the Gemara, are you allowed to say as you're learning the Gemara, and the bracha on this is Baruch Atah, and say Hashem's name? What am I doing? I'm learning the Gemara. Are you allowed to do that or not? Are you allowed to say that? So, what's the question? Is that called l'shav? Is that called saying Hashem's name for no reason? So the mother of Ram says, you're not allowed to say Hashem's name. And you're learning the Gemara, and it says in the Gemara, the bracha you make on this is Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam. You have to say Hashem. You can't say Hashem's name. Why? Because that's called Eina Tzricha. It's not necessary.
This is just teaching the chassid.
Huh?
The Gemara is teaching you
Right, teaching what the bracha is. The Gemara is basically teaching you what the bracha is. Just because you're reading the Gemara doesn't mean you're not saying you already know the bracha. What reason why you say Hashem's name? The dafka matinik mutal haskas Hashem. Avagadol. The shah shaloimid habrachas begemara are growing up. When he's learning in the Gemara, it's saying a bracha that says in the Gemara, Oimer beloy haskaras Hashem. He has to say it without saying Hashem's name. The rak. Shaloimid hapsukim and haskarim betalmud. What does hapsukim in the Talmud? The Gemara brings down a pasuk. When you're saying a pasuk that the Gemara brings down, and you're saying the whole pasuk, then you could say Hashem's name. Because when you're saying a pasuk, you're allowed to say Hashem's name. But when you're saying the bracha, you're not allowed to say it. That's what the Magen Avraham says.
A pasuk, not a bracha.
A pasuk you're allowed to say. A bracha you're not allowed to say.
You practice it correct.
Huh?
You practice it.
You practice it.
Doesn't happen. Like when the Rashid gives a shir. Pasuk comes in the comment.
No, so we'll see soon. We'll see soon. Even a pasuk, that's a pasuk, we do that today. But the Magen Avraham says, a pasuk you're allowed to say. Mashain came, a bracha you're not allowed to say. The Shari Tshuva brings that from the Yavit, from Yaakov, who says, and it brings a pasuk or anything like that, you can say Hashem's name, it says even more. Oh, here it is. Usilas Yavit, which is the Dak Vemdin, Kosav, the Miesh Haskara Be'emtza Matbeya Bracha Ksuva B'Shas. In Shas, there's a bracha, and it says Hashem's name in the bracha. Yachal Lo'imra, you're allowed to say it. You're allowed to say, he argues, he says you're allowed to say Hashem's name. So he holds, one second, he brings it down, but because of the Ken HaYinoyig Mar Oviv with the Chamtzvi. Chamtzvi was not even learned the Gemara, he said Hashem's name. The question is why? Why are you allowed to do it? So they explain because it's not called L'shav. You're not saying it for no reason. You're learning the Gemara. And the Gemara says this is the bracha that you make. So you're learning the Gemara. It's not called L'shav. It's not that I'm saying it for no reason. L'shav means just saying Hashem's name for no reason. Here it's not for no reason. I'm learning the Gemara. The Gemara brings down a bracha. The same way I say every other word in the Gemara, I say Hashem's name as I'm learning. It's not called L'shav. So Machlokes says, what's called L'shav? Another example they give is when he sings Mius. Sings Mius is a big child. So when he sings Mius, should you say Hashem's name or can't you say Hashem's name? So most of the places come hold when he's singing his Mius, let's say Baruch all these things that you say, most of the places you say Hashem's name. You're saying it, it's part of his Zemer.
Even repetition.
But not repetition.
Oh, we'll get to that in a second.
We'll get to
that in a second. So you could say Hashem's name when you're saying it. Right? So I saw yesterday that Shlomo Zalman brings down, the big thing from Shlomo Zalman, that they used to sing Mina Meitzah Karotzi Kol, right? That's Hashem's name. It's a pasuk. So you're allowed to say Hashem's name when you sing it. This is what they say there. I'm not sure what exactly the reason is, but it says if you're singing the whole pasuk, you're allowed to say Hashem's name.
Aren't you supposed to make it this Davar, the entire after the expression is supposed to actually read it, as opposed to say it? You're supposed to actually see it in front of you.
Yeah, Shalom Bapeh.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, but that's you could say Bapeh.
You just like yes.
Yeah. So if Shlomo Zalman writes over there, if you're saying Mina Meitzah Karotzi Kol, Anonim Amercha of Kol, you're saying Hashem's name. So he says when you're singing it, you're allowed to say Hashem's name. But he says like this: if you're singing it and you say the pasuk twice or 3 times, you could say it. If you're constantly repeating it over and over again, then you can't say it. That's a bit of a Shlomo. I don't know what the chiluk is. 3 times or 5 times. I'm not sure.
Does he say if you say the entire pasuk 5 times?
So he doesn't say that.
Parts.
He doesn't say. But he said to say the pasuk when I make the car. And I'm assuming
that's not Yud Vav.
Yes, it's full power. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah. All Hashem's name and power. Here, it's Mashal Shlomo Zalman that you say the whole pasuk straight. You can't say Mina Metzah Krasi Kar. You can't say that. You have to say the whole pasuk. So that we do find that if you're saying the whole pasuk, you could say it with Hashem's name. If you're saying part of the pasuk, you can't say it with Hashem's name. So if you're saying Zmius and Shabbos and you're repeating it over and over again in a certain pasuk, you can't say it with Hashem's name. If you're saying Hashem's name once, then you could do it. I know they say one of the good Baruch Hallel, they say Lokel a few times, right? You can't say Hashem's name because if you're saying Hashem's name, you can't do it. I know one of the Kariboins, they say they call delay. So in the beginning, you start by the call delay 2-3 times. You shouldn't say Hashem's name. The last time, when you're saying it, and you're continuing the whole thing, then you could say Hashem's name. But just to repeat Hashem's name by itself, sorry, you can't do that.
To make things simpler, you just not say Hashem's name, period.
No, so if you're saying it straight, then you say Hashem's name.
You're singing, you don't remember here this after.
But but usually most of these music that we sing, Baruch Hu, most of the good just go straight. But if it repeats itself, you shouldn't say Hashem's name. There are some people that when they sing music, they never say Hashem's name. Right. But there's definitely reason to say it. So that was something Kedusha, you can say Hashem's name. If you're repeating it, you don't say Hashem's name. That's in Zemiris, and that's in Machlokes, the Yavitz, and the Magen Avram, when you're living in Gemara. It also comes up a lot. The halacha of saying Hashem's name is not just Yud Kei Vav Kei, or Adnus. The halacha is, any lashon is a problem. Mr. Rubik's down over here. V'lav dafka Shem Shadal Oisyeis. Who are the Shara Shemos? Shakai, Tzivokos. These names also you can't say it by itself without any reason.
So UK by itself
is
Hashem's name.
Is Hashem's name, yeah.
Right. So in English, if you're very excited and you want to say yes really fast, that's what you say. You say.
Okay, fine.
Right. So I'm just wondering.
Yeah, you don't have
it turns out that it's Hashem's name.
Yeah, you don't have for it. You don't mean it's Hashem's name.
No. Yes, the fact that it is Hashem's name doesn't
Y-A.
Correct.
Like
Right.
cheer, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not- to get to that. It says like this. It says over here, who did Haiti Hashem B'Lashon Laz Levatala.
There's no kavanah there.
If you're saying Hashem's name B'Lashon Laz, that's what's the Hebrew. G-C, you're saying it out, right? Also, it's Hashem's name. So he says also you can't say it for no reason. There's also an issue. So any one of Hashem's name is also to say it for no reason, unless you're doing it derech, a bracha, or learning a Gemara according to the Yavit. It's not to say Hashem's name, even in English, it's a problem. I mean, if someone's speaking and you're saying something, you shouldn't say Hashem, even G-C, you shouldn't say.
If you say Baruch Hashem,
good. So also the same thing from Shlomo Zalman says we know that everyone says thank God, right? Or in Yiddish, you're saying thank God. Thank God also is. So he says really.
The security guard says Baruch Hashem. He doesn't say thank God. I trained the guy. He says Baruch.
So if Shlomo Zalman happens to write, he says that there's nothing wrong. If the law is the same as derech shvach for Hashem, you're allowed to say Hashem's name. If you're saying it derech shvach for Hashem, you're allowed to say Hashem's name. And the Pia Locha, if you want to say thank God, you're allowed to say it. You're doing it for shvach. It's not called levatala. It's not called levatala. Shlomo Zalman says it's not a good idea.
Oh my.
That's not. That's nothing. Oh my, it's not a shvach. It's not a shvach. You're saying it because something happened. Or you say it when something bad happens. That's like a shvach. Right? You can't say it. And that's where it comes from. We say Hashem. We say the Eibishter. We don't say Hashem's name, whether it's in English or in Hebrew or in Yiddish.
Even the Eibishter. That's just a description of him. That's not really.
It's a description. Eibishter means the Eibishter, the one from above. They're saying the one from above. The Baruch Shalom. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's not Hashem's name.
HaKadosh Baruch.
HaKadosh Baruch also not Hashem's name. It's not one of the names.
There's a whole shroud in the mikveh. If you can say Baruch Hashem.
Correct.
There's a machlekes. Some guy says.
You don't say Shalom Aleichem. Because one of Hashem's names is Shalom.
Yeah, Shalom is one of Hashem's names.
HaKadosh is not.
I don't think so.
And yet Shalom is allowed to say 1,000 times.
Yeah, Shalom is a question. It's really Hashem's name, and it's machlekes. It's Hashem's name.
But yet in the mikveh you don't use it.
Yeah. So Shlomo Zalman said it's not a good idea to train yourself to say Hashem's name like that, to say thank God. But he does say, someone is doing it, and you're going to stop him.
And he will stop.
And he'll stop, and he won't say anything. And so that leave him. So he should know there's an Eibishter. He does say that. If he's going to change something else, okay, it's better. But if he's not going to change anything else, he's going to stay without saying anything. It's good that Shem Shemaim should be shocked al piv. They should always thank Hashem for whatever happens. That's what Shlomo Zalman says. Now, there's another mixture that happens a lot, which is just good to know, that, first of all, when someone forgets to say Bichas Kohen, so what happens? Someone from the Sigrid screams out, right? Either say Bichas Kohen or say Elokeinu. Some people don't say Elokeinu. They say Hashem's name. And that's what he's saying. You can't do that. You can't yell out Elokeinu saying it the way it is. Because saying Hashem's name for no reason.
But it's a reminder to the other guy to mention it.
It makes a difference. It's not derech shvach. Even though you're doing it for a reason, the only way you're allowed to say Hashem's name is if you're doing it to derech shvach. You're doing it, they're using it for that. Even though you have a reason why you're saying it, you can't do it.
Through that, everybody else will get blessed.
Doesn't make a difference. You say something else. Say Bichas Kohen. Say Elokeinu. Right. You have to be careful.
Yeah.
There's another time that happens also a lot. This also happens very often. Those who daven tzvar. It comes from the Tachnon. Right. So then you don't say Tachnon. That says the Chosin. So by the time the Chazal starts saying Kaddish, a few people start saying Elokeinu we're saying already.
So what do you do?
So what do you do? So the person who starts saying you should finish it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Finish the first part. You shouldn't just stop. You shouldn't just stop. If you just stop, you say Hashem's name for no reason. You have to finish the pasuk. Not the pasuk. Yeah, you have to finish it. But some places will give a clap right away, and no one should say it. To stop anybody from starting to say it.
Yeah.
I want to share with you that Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky writes. And see, it's not so. He attaches up the Machlokes, the Yavitz, and the Magen Avraham, the reading of Gemara against Hashem's name. He has a different shot from the Machlokes, and this is very negative to us. It says like this. It says that when Yaakov Avinu came to Yitzchak for the brachas, so Yitzchak was choshed. It wasn't Yaakov. Why? Because it was Shem Shemayim Shagal Apef. You know, he heard it saying. Yaakov used to have Shem Shemayim Shagal Apef. So Hakre Hashem al it says. So he used to use Hashem's name a lot. In the Shvach, it was Mutter. So the Rabbi asked a kasha on Rashi. It says Yitzchak knew. Yitzchak thought that Esav was the tzaddik. Right? He said that Yitzchak Esav was the tzaddik, whatever it means. But PARSHA Pshat, Yitzchak thought that Esav was good. So Yaakov was Shem Shemayim Shagal Apiv. Esav wasn't. So right away he knew that Esav wasn't such a tzaddik. Because if Yaakov kept it, everything he said was Hashem, 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 he thanked Hashem for everything, Esav didn't. Why did Yitzchak figure out right away that Esav wasn't a tzaddik? That's his kasha on Rashi. Right? Because how you Esav Rasha by any Aviv, Esav wasn't a Rasha. So he answers like this: Ulai hayechoshiv ki ba'avur haYosef ish shada v'liba el atayid. He thought that Esav was an ish tzayid. Einenu masker Shem Shemayim. He never said Shem Shemayim. Mipachtoi shelo yaskirenu b'mokam she'enei tahor u'mabli kavana. The natural izeh ve'enei aviv l'yir Shemayim. Yitzchak, when Esav didn't say Hashem's name, he didn't think there's something wrong with him. He said he's a very true person. Because Esav was always in the fields, and he was always with Shemos in the fields, and to say Hashem's name over there you can't. So he thought that Esav was a fakert. He was opposite. He was protecting that he shouldn't say Hashem's name in a place where you can't say it. So it's a chivas.
Because he was a phony baloney, he'd be saying it. So obviously, if he was a phony baloney, he'd be
even in those places.
To convince Yitzchak.
So it says about that's why Yitzchak thought that when Esav wasn't saying Hashem's name, it was for good, it wasn't for bad. He was being careful never to use it, so he shouldn't end up using it in places that he can't use it. Says the back of Kamenetsky, V'hinei, Vatzin the Machlokes, and he brings up the Machlokes of Magen Avraham and the Yavitz. Because when you learn the Gemara, you can say Hashem's name or not. So he says, what's the Machlokes? The Machlokes is back of Emden and the Magen Avraham is not a Machlokes, but when you're learning the Gemara, you say Hashem's name, whether it's called the Batala. Everyone agrees when you're learning the Gemara and you're saying the bracha or you're saying Hashem's name, it's not called the Batala. Because you're learning the Gemara. It's not Shem Shemayim the Batala. What's the Machlokes? The Magen Avraham held, don't do it. Because if you get used to saying Hashem's name like that, you end up saying it for other reasons also, you're not going to be careful, and it's better to stay away.
Rabbi, if you're teaching a not yet from person to say a bracha,
same thing as a tinnik.
So you say
yeah. So it says like this. This is the Lashon of Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky. He says that that's the Ramban. The way the Ramban said Esav was, that's what we are today. You don't mention Hashem's name because it's better not to, because you may end up saying it in times where it's not going to be the right place. He says, you don't stand next to a wolf. Right? You stay away from him. Even though you could save yourself, why should you put yourself in a position where you end up facing a wolf? You stay away from them. The same thing is over here. Someone who has a real Yiras Hashem, he doesn't bring himself to saying Hashem's name. Even though he's doing it derech limudai, he's not doing it levatala. Don't get used to saying Hashem's name. It's not kedai. Ube'emes, the lashon of Yaakov Kamenetsky. Ube'emes, anachnu kulanu We're all the same daga as Esav, but again, this Indian. We don't have the pachad and the Yiro of saying Hashem Shemayim only at the right times. He knew he's only saying it in the right times. Yaakov Avinu was able to have Shem Shemayim Shagar up it. But us, we're different. We're holding more like Esav, and therefore we should not say Shem Shemayim. So Yaakov is saying basically, even though maybe the argument is right, that when you're learning the Gemara, you can say Hashem's name. And even Psukim, even when you're quoting a pasuk, even though B'etzim you could say Hashem's name, but since we're not so careful with it, better not to stay away from it. Better stay away from it. And this comes up, someone's quoting the pasuk, right, with Hashem's name, and someone stops in the middle. Someone stops the person in the middle. So he said Hashem's name without thinking really, and he'll stop. He didn't finish the pasuk. Then it's Shem Shemayim Levatol. If you don't finish the pasuk, it's Shem Shemayim Levatol. That's what Rabbi Yaakov means. You can go ahead and you use Shem Shemayim so frequently, so often, sometimes you end up saying it for no reason. If you're not careful. You start the pasuk, you won't finish the pasuk, so it's going to stop you in the middle, get interrupted. And the same thing happened with Zmiris. When someone's singing Zmiris, and he doesn't concentrate on what he's saying, in the middle, the main dish comes in, you forget about the Zmiris, right? The soup comes in, you forget about the Zmiris. If you had said Hashem's name, and you stop the middle, then you're in trouble. You said Hashem Shemayim Levatol. So you have to be careful. Even when you say Hashem Shemayim, even though in halacha it's not called Levatol, if you're saying it for a reason, you're saying it as Zmiris, every person knows himself, and knows if he sings Zmiris, a lot of times he gets carried away, more than Zmiris. There's a conversation going on the table, and you join the conversation, and it happens all the time while you're singing Zmiris, you have to be very careful. Then maybe you should not say Hashem's name when you're saying Zmiris.
Careful with what? With the specific pasuk that it's in the middle of the song?
Yeah.
Or with the whole song?
No, the stanza. That's whatever Indian it is. But if you're careful that when you're saying this Zmiris and you say Hashem's name and there's a good conversation going on, you finish it off, that's fine. But if you're not careful to finish it off and you just by mistake join the conversation, then maybe you're better off not saying Hashem's name in Zmiris.
It's the same thing that happened in learning Shiva.
And the pasuk, the stanza repeated, like whatever Hashem, the Baruch, whatever. You said it's better to say Hashem's name on the last,
right,
as opposed to the first time.
Right, because you're not. Yeah, because the first time it's not the hefsek after the pasuk. Yeah, last time.
You're learning too. If like a Gemara that you're learning about brachas, it's easy to be in the middle of a learning, get distracted. Even when somebody else is learning, somebody else
very easy to get distracted.
You're right in the middle of. You just said.
Even if you're saying a pasuk, even if you're not saying a bracha, you're saying a pasuk which is more cow. Yeah. You're saying a pasuk in the Gemara. Yeah. And you get distracted easily. Yeah. And you stop in the middle and you say Hashem's name, yeah. That's why it's kedai not to say it. No, for a lot of people, it's not mikvah chatagim, they're makbid and they're careful, they don't speak out. When you sing Zmiris Shabbos, you also makbid, that's to stop in the middle. You talk about makbid, then you can say Hashem's name. So if you're saying the pasuk, you're saying aloud, you're saying the pasuk, if you're not makbid, not to stop in the middle of a pasuk, but you should not say Hashem's name. Usually it's not mikvah chatagim, most people are makbid. Yeah, so usually most people say Shai Mikvah Chatagim and Makbid. So anyway, you're not supposed to stop in the middle, even in the middle of the pasuk, you're not supposed to stop.
You had to finish the pasuk.
Close to the middle of the pasuk. Yeah, but someone's laying, right? And you stop and you make a mistake, right? That's finish the pasuk. Yeah, finish the pasuk. You always got to finish the pasuk. That's why you have to be careful. Anytime you are taking the liberty to use Hashem's name, and it's better. You can take that liberty, but make sure when you're doing it that you realize that you're saying Hashem's name and you're finishing it off with the whole thing. That's stopping in the middle. And the same thing with thank God, these type of things. It's better if someone thinks when he says it's fine. If someone not, maybe better not to say it. Maybe better to say Hashem.
Fantastic.
No, but the Shema says you should have Shem Shemayim.
No, you lost the bracha.
You should have Shem Shemayim. If you can say fantastic without thanking Hashem.
So what should you say then?
Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. But they say from the Shlo. They say, I didn't say that. They say from the Shlo. The Shlo says that even though, let's say, you shouldn't say Hashem's name, we should have Shogah B'Pshicha to thank Hashem. You always say, Emiyat Hashem, that's Hashem. Then you just have a Shogah B'Pshicha. And he says, I didn't see this inside. Someone told it. I think I saw it inside in the Sefer brought down from the Shlo. It says about the V'tzas Hashem, Yisakum. Right? Eitzer Hashem, Yisakum. He says, He, Hey Aleph, backwards is the Rosh Hashanah Emiyat Hashem.
That's cute.
So it says. But remember, you always say Emiyat Hashem.
Can you say that in English or not?
Yeah, say it in English. No, but
It's not Sheva.
No, but they say if you're saying God willing, let's say, right?
Yeah.
Then that could be worse. I don't think you say that. You're saying Hashem's name.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're saying Hashem's name.
Yeah.
No, but you're saying it is Ashva because you're saying you're going from having
Right. Yeah, it's true, it is Hashvach, yeah. So I said...
You hear it all the time.
Yeah, thank God also hear all the time.
No, but that you're saying Shvach, but the other parts,
yeah, so maybe,
you're also saying...
Yeah, maybe God willing is also a Shvach. You're showing that it's dependent, we're dependent on Hashem. Yeah, but they're saying Hashem, he's saying Hashem's name in English.
You have
the name
say, thank goodness. That's already could be Nishma, but it's our
Thank the name.
No.
Saying goodness has a type.
If you mean Hashem,
you don't mean anything.
No. You don't mean Hashem by Jordan, it's not a problem. No.
You're saying,
I had somebody, I learned about Tshuva on the phone. They called me and said, I want to ask you a question. Says, what's the difference between Emiyat Hashem and Mitzvah Hashem? Mitzvah Hashem. We say it's fast. We say Mitzvah Hashem. What's the difference between Emiyat Hashem and Mitzvah Hashem?
Quarter of a second.
There's no difference. It's saying it wrong. If you're saying it, you may as well say it right. You may as well say it right. You may as well say it Mitzvah Hashem. Huh?
the word shkoyach.
Yes, shkoyach.
Yes, shkoyach. Yeah. Another thing I want to say quickly is interesting. Someone said the Moshe Shiloh. There's also very negative the Shiloh about saying Hashem Shemaim Avatala. Someone sent him a Shiloh. They have his necklaces. You can see a lot more, and you'll see it. That it says on the necklace Shakai. Shin Daled Yud.
The hand.
The hand.
The hand necklace.
Yeah.
And they have a keychain.
And have a keychain. It says Shin Daled Yud.
What happens if it raises?
So the Moshe says, if it's Kama Kamarayas, that the same way it's also to say Hashem's name Levatala, you're not allowed to write Hashem's name Levatala. You can't take a piece of paper and write Hashem's name for nothing. Just write Hashem's name. So he comes out very, very strong against writing Shakai, Shin Daled Yud, to write on anything and wear it. He says it's Hashem Shemaim Levatala.
But it's supposed to be a protection.
Mezuzah is something else. Mezuzah you're supposed to have it as part of the mezuzah. But it says to have it on a what's it called again, on a necklace or something.
But they wear it as a protection.
He says you can't do it. You can't use Hashem Shemaim on it. You cannot use it. You cannot write Hashem Shemaim. He says Kamei is to have Hashem's name on it. It's part of the whole thing. Not just Hashem's name by itself.
You can't even write it. How do you write it? You can't write God's name, right?
In a command?
No, you can write it. If you write a prophecy, you can write it.
I'm saying just Stamazah, you can't
Stamazah to write Hashem's name. He says to writing Hashem's name is as if you're saying Hashem's name Levatala. He says therefore you should not write, you should not have a necklace or whatever it is. It says on it.
You buy it.
Yeah.
What you buy mezuzah is part of the mitzvah. If it doesn't have that, it's
no, it's kosher. It's kosher.
So it's not part of the mitzvah.
Yeah, but it's different from what mezuzah is. Mezuzah is different. Mezuzah may have it like a kameya. Mezuzah is different. When wearing a mezuzah is a whole different reason than on a necklace. A necklace and to have Hashem's name by itself, he says it's awesome. Yeah. So this is a very common thing. This necklace.
So 1 second.
The Shub is a Tavshin Chof. Tavshin Chof is last couple of years ago.
What about a hand that people hang on the wall? Has Shaka with a bunch of psukim and everything?
No, so if there's psukim on it, there's something else. I may have to do with Kameya. If it has psukim on it, then it's a whole different thing. Just the name Shaka itself, it says, is also to do.